anyone who studies the halachot of Shabbat or the Mishnayot of Masechet Shabbat is suddenly struck with the difference between the principle that we learn from our parsha, that all the melachot that we're not allowed to do on Shabbat, there are sources, melechet Mishkan, like in our parsha, the adjacency between the Mishkan and the Isur of Shabbat. But when we open the Mishnah, we find that the list of prohibitions of actions that we're not allowed to do on Shabbat, we can barely find any resemblance of where they were in the Mishkan. Planting and reaping and preparing food, baking, or preparing clothes and sewing, and all these things, where were they in the Mishkan? Only the last melachot, actions that are mentioned in the Mishnah, like building and tearing down a building, or lighting a fire, or finishing building a vessel, makeh patish, like hammering it in. Those are the actions, the 3-4 actions that are clearly those that are related to building the Mishkan. But what's with all the rest of the list? Why is there such a difference between the source, which is the Mishkan, and the implementation of all the actions that seem totally non-related, which appear in the Mishnayot? I think the answer is that the Mishnayot and the Torah have a totally different educational goal. When we learn Mishnah, the Mishnah is here, it's like a Shulchan Aruch. It's here to teach us the practice, how to fulfill practically halachot. What do we need to do? And when the Mishnayot need to tell us what to do, so they go to our everyday actions and tell us what are we not allowed to do on Shabbat. They give us all the list of preparing food, from planting and farming the land and reaping and baking and preparing the food. And then you're also not allowed to prepare clothes. You're not allowed to spin the wool or prepare weave or sew or any other actions about preparing clothes. And then later on preparing even parchment for writing on. All these are day-to-day actions. And the Mishnayot teach us the day-to-day actions, what we're not allowed to do on Shabbat. And it goes with the practice, the things that we're used to doing. But the Torah Shmichtav, the Parsha, teaches us the principles. And when the Torah tells us, do not build the Mishkan on Shabbat, when the Torah tells us what not to do, it also teaches us to derive what we should be doing. When the Torah tells us, do not build the Mishkan on Shabbat, it's teaching us that on weekdays, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be building a Mishkan. Yeah, we have all our day-to-day actions, but the goal of our life is actually building things of significance, of holiness, that do good, and that can be that have sanctity in it. That is the goal of our life, of all the actions that we do along the week. So, and that is what the Torah teaches us. May we all merit, B'ezrat Hashem, to be productive and to be active, and that all our actions, that from the simple, mundane things we do all day to the big ones we get to do once in a long while, will all be focused on really building our personal and communal Mishkan. Shabbat Shalom.